Hi friends, I'm Michelle de Toit. Welcome to Heart Treasure. Today we're going to talk about friendships. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at ways to evaluate your friendships, look at what is a good biblical approach to approach your friendships, and then I'm going to give you a few tips on how to evaluate your current friendships. What is the value of friendships? When we're talking about friends, it's not like we're talking about family, because the Bible says that there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And so we have friends in our lives because sometimes family is just not there for you. And although we love family and our families are very close to us, family can be busy, they can be preoccupied, or family can just not be available at that time. And so you cannot just rely on family, you need to build friendships as first. So the first strategy is to build a circle of friends that are close to you, but good quality friendships. And here we have to remember that there's a difference between how the world approaches friendships and how we approach friendships. In the world, there's a lot of talk about networking and connections. And so when people go out, they're wanting to make connections, they're wanting to network with people. And the main goal of that kind of strategy is because you want to see what you can get out of them that would benefit you, or you want to see what you can offer them that would benefit them, or you want to look at a partnership that you can potentially work together. That is essentially what networking or connecting is all about. What I'm talking here is friendship. Friendship is when two people come together and bring out the best in each other for mutual benefit. So what we're talking about here is not to build a network system, we're talking about building a circle of close friends. So, have you got friends? Jesus structured his friendships in a very specific way. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how Jesus structured those friendships. So Jesus, first of all, selected 12 men that were called his disciples. And these people were selected out of crowds of people to be close to him all the time. So we can effectively say that these were the people that were closest to him during his ministry. So in this group of 12, there are group dynamics that come to play. So what happens is over a period of time, people will naturally gel together. So what we have is up until when Peter declares that Jesus is the Lord and Savior, you don't have Peter, James, and John being mentioned as a separate pair from the others. And so if you look at the group of 12, Peter, James, and John then become a smaller group within the greater group of the 12 disciples that are together. Then you get the disciples that naturally work together. So they were paired into groups to work together, and when they went out and to minister, they would naturally work together. So in a group of people, or a group of people together, you will have people who naturally work together, but they might not get along socially that well. And then you'll get people like John and Jesus who their hearts just naturally gel together and they just enjoy each other's company and love each other because John was called Jesus' beloved disciple. So what happens with those two people is they're just naturally drawn together. So even within a group dynamics, there may be one or two people that are just naturally drawn together. So what you're also going to notice about Jesus' circle of friendships is that he had other friends as well. So they went to the house of Nicodemus. They went to the taxpayer's house for a meal where the lady broke the vase with perfumed oil onto Jesus' feet. And then, of course, there's a whole example of Jesus interacting with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, and Lazarus gets raised up from the dead. These are friendships that Jesus had outside of the circle of 12. So you can see that Jesus had a kind of a structure about how he put his friendships together. He had those close to him, and then a little bit further, and then those beyond. So essentially, when you're looking at the way he structures his friendship, there can be the 3, then you can have the 12, and then there would be the 72, because there were lots of other disciples that were following him, and Jesus sent them out 2 by 2 out into the world to spread the gospel. And then, of course, there were the masses that Jesus was teaching to, but there were also some people that he had a specific relationship with, like Mary and Martha, or even the woman that followed him and his disciples around while they were ministering with everyone. So the whole point is Jesus structured his relationships, but he was very intentional about it. He was very clear about who he wanted to spend time with, who he wanted to spend a lot of focused time with, and who he wanted to spend less focused time with. And so we kind of have to be intentional about our relationships as well and structure our friendships into groups as well. And so that is what we're really going to be looking at today. So what you're going to do is analyze your friendships. You've got to look at who is really close to you. Who are the people that you would say are your Peter, James and John that are the closest to you. And then you've got to say to yourself, who are the people who would be my 12? Who are the people who are in the 72? And who are just people in general knowledge of who I know, who I network with, and who I connect with. So what you do is you start with those that are closest to you, because those will you be your closest circle of friends. So when you're analyzing those closest to you, you've got to ask yourself, who do I have a Peter, James, John relationship with? You know, people that are really close to me. Or who do are people that I only see now and then, but I'd actually like them to be a bit closer to me, closer to my inner circle. Or who do I have a relationship with that's in my inner circle, but actually needs to be someone I don't see that often? Because you see, what happens is, just like Jesus was intentional about the people around him, he was also intentional about the amount of time he spent with those people. And you can see that he spent most of his time with the 12 disciples, but spent even more specific quality time with Peter, James and John. So that smaller circle is where you want to spend most of your time, and then going further and further and further out, depending on which circle the people live in. So what you might find is that the people that are really close to you, your Peter, James and John, so to speak, are not actually the people that you are spending a regular time with. And those are the people that are really filling into your life, building into your life, but you see them only now and then and not so often. And so what happens is, you're not getting that input from their lives. So you might have to ask yourself, if those are those kind of people, am I spending enough time with them on a regular basis so that I can have their input and their value in my life? Because if I'm not, then I need to change the way that I'm socializing so that I'm spending more quality time with those people who I want in my inner circle. Now, if you're a highly sociable person like me, you have a situation where people come to you and they want to spend time with you. So they say, let's have coffee, let's get together, come to dinner, let's go away for a weekend or whatever. And then you kind of like feel that you have got everybody wanting a piece of you, because so many people want to be within your life. So what you do is you analyze your friendships and you kind of put them into those circles. And then obviously people who you want to spend more time with are the people that you are going to do more activities with. People that you want to spend less time with are not the people. So it gives you an understanding of when to say no to what social situations. To say, okay, how close is this person? Do they fall within my 12 circle? No, not really. So I don't really have to feel that push to have to spend time with them socially. It also helps you, if you structure your friendships like this, to understand how to deal with your own feelings, because very often we have feelings of FOMO. We don't want to miss out what everyone else is doing, and we want to spend lots of time with other people. And so what happens is, we feel that we have to go to this event, and that event, because we don't want to miss out on anything. But if you've identified who your close circles are, then it's easier for you to say, I'm not going to that social arrangement because they're not with the people that I want to be with. And it also helps you to deal with that FOMO inside of you, but it also helps you to say no to the crowd and yes to friends. So with a group of 12 people, those are the people that you're going to build memories with. Those are the people that you're going to spend lots of fun times. But every now and then, Mary, Martha and Lazarus are going to come and visit you, and you're going to make great memories together, and you're going to spend time together. But they're not essentially your core people. Much as you love Mary, Martha and Lazarus, the core people are your 12 people. Those are the people you're going to build memories with, and you enjoy them and you love them, and those are the people you work on. Obviously, always in those 12 people, making sure that the best memories that you build and the best fun times that you have are with your Peter, James and John, because those are the people who understand your heart, they are close to you, and probably know a lot more about you than the other 12 do. So be intentional about your friendships. Think about who is in which circle within your life. But here's a tip: don't go telling people in which circle they fall, because you don't want the little competition thing going on between friends as to who's in your inner circle and who's in your next circle and so on. You do that for your own analysis so that you can be intentional and decide how you're going to spend time with those people. So what we've done is we've looked at a tool, a biblical tool, to analyze your friendships on, and to look at how they are structured, who's close to you, who's further away. And what you might have found is that you don't even have a Peter, James and John, and you have to work at getting that. Or you might have found that you're trying to build relationships with 20 people instead of just 12 people, and you're spreading yourself thin across a whole lot of friendships. Or you might find that you don't have enough friends to be able to allocate them into different circles even, and that you actually need to do some work to build friends into your circle group. Whatever happens, it gives you a good structure in terms of analyzing where your friendships are and how they're doing. So be intentional about the relationships that you're building in your life. Structure them like Jesus structured them, and work hard at building your core center and then your circles going outwards. So thank you for watching. I hope you got something about how to structure your friendships. Next time, I'm going to talk about how your personality and character impacts your friendships. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Michelle, Heart Treasure, looking out for you.